A lot. I did negotiate. Can you hear me there? Fantastic. I did negotiate with the host that I'll introduce the panelists because they are unique and accomplished. And I promise I'm not reading their LinkedIn because none of them have written in their LinkedIn that they are unique and accomplished, right? So let's start with the leader who has spent 25 plus years in the organization he's working for. I can't think of any institution for 25 years plus. College, school, no. Job, definitely no. Marriage, my wife is not around, so no. So, he wrongly puts it to say that Mohan have become a furniture. But in my mind, he's the role model who stands for tenacity, commitment, loyalty, and the value you deliver to the organization. Nash, please join us.
But I have to say one thing, since you embarrassed me. I just have to say one thing.
Yeah, sure.
He embarrassed me by saying I'm 27 years in HP, but I never did a job for more than 3 years. So I did 9-10 jobs within the same company. It's like multiple gigs. Just that my card is the same. It's HP, that's all.
I did not embarrass, I called you the role model, sir. So, from stability to versatility, I worked for 2 decades for IT companies to realize that I'm stuck in life. I shouldn't be doing the same thing again and again, but I was too late, too lazy, too slow, whatever. Then I moved into a logistics company to see what is real in life, right? So here is another person. She's a professional who started with pharma, moved to manufacturing, worked with Bhavesh team, I'm sure, God save you, 4 years. So, and then she moved to EdTech and now in the alternate medicine, the Ayurveda company. Surya, thank you very much for joining us. I will not.
I'm alive and kicking, so Bhavesh did me
well. I'll not attempt my gift of gab here because I'm a ghaspoos guy. I don't understand the delicacy of meat, nor do I understand what a company secretary does on complaints. We are so restless. I can't stick to something which is this thing. But there is something very interesting about Sridhar. He was saying that we have German butchers. I सोच रहा था यार butcher is butcher यार ये German क्या नया कर सकते you cut. So but anyway, since I did introduce myself as a ghaspoos guy, I don't know what it is. Probably they have delivered BMWs, Volkswagen, Merck. So probably German butcher does it in a new way. Sridhar, please join us.
Lucky I didn't get some German knife for talking of.
Why this is little messy. Towards the end of last year, I was on a conversation and there was another senior lady who was with me on the webcast, and I had to start the conversation somewhere, right? And dummy could not think of something new, so I asked, which company do you work for? She looked at me and said, Bewkoof. I said, well, you are right, but it was little harsh. So though right, little harsh, but she is our lady who can balance her left and right brain fantastic. She's an expert in Compenben and she's a great internal communication person. Samata, I see you now. She's our head HR from Bewkoof. Bewkoof is the company. Okay, so some context, a couple of sentences on that. Ballal was at office last evening and he had a request. Request nahi tha filhal, he's paying for all this, so mandate tha. So he said, Mohan, there are only 2 words we expect from you. I asked what? He said brevity and levity. So gentlemen and 2 ladies, the thing is that you have to give your best joke in the shortest sentence. And if I offend you, which I would have already done, you can blame Ballal. because that's what he asked me to do. So the context is that we have 500 million urban Indians in this country. 11 million graduates keep getting added every year. We don't know what to do with them. You know, the data I researched and NIPI gave me something, says that less than 50% are employable. You know, that also says that other 50% are not as lucky as you and me here are. So the whole conversation is going to be, what are we doing about it? Broadly, we will talk about 3 different topics which you are aware of, and we will speak about that. Some basic things, you know, you know what we are conversing, but what we don't know, what I did not ever tell you, is that I just baked in some rapid fire questions towards the end so that they are not prepared, right? You need to see them without makeup. And I have the advantage of standing away from them, so I gave them that. So that is the context. And before we start on that, I have the last person panelist whom I cannot even rag in any way. Basically because he's a geek here. He's an electronics engineer and belongs to the tribe of Excel whom we dislike from Simbi guys, right? And then, you know, and he's also now works for Reliance, who is our customer. Hamara dukaan band kar lega. So I need to be nice to him. And the guy is about 730 plus in GMAT, 99.96 in SAT. मेरा मोबाइल भी इतना चार्ज नहीं होता है यार, 99.96. So can we please get Mrrigank to join us? Mrrigank, where are you? Oh, I see you there. If I offend, I spoke all right.
Don't bring the academic scores, please. You just embarrass me.
Okay, so you can blame Ballal. Okay, so the last thing, I thought I got the license to do that. So the last thing is that audience, if at all we make it right on time and the volunteers can get some questions of yours, we will take that in the session. And if not, I promise you that the responses would be lot more cerebral after a glass of wine, and the panelists will be around to respond to your questions. So on a serious note, now all of you are giving me dirty looks. So, you know, coming back to the problem and the context we were talking about, how do we get this team to be job ready? You know, it is all of us will have to do something, and it has gone into the shape of saying that they have to do, we have to do, but all of us will have to do something. How do we get them job ready? Are there any specifics we have done? Nash, you're the best to start with. Are there anything specifics we have done to bridge the gap?
So first of all, good evening everyone. And when it took time for the last person to join, I thought that empty chair will be like an empty chair, because sometimes you keep for the customer one empty chair, you know. So I thought it's like, you know, he's doing that. But thank God. Okay, no. So maybe that's for the customer. Okay, so the question is, how do you get job ready? Okay, job readiness. So the brutal truth is, by the way, I've been working for 33 years and 27 is in HP. Okay, so it's like 3 decades, you know, so it's a lot of time, a lot of white hair, you can see. But one thing is, you can never get people job ready. Okay, I'm a perfect example. Okay, first 5 years I'm a mechanical engineer. First 5 years I was in the automobile industry. I moved into product management. I did jobs which the hardcore computer science and electronics engineers also want to. To that extent, I've been a product manager, I've been a category manager, I've been an e-commerce head, I've been a channel manager, I've been a CMO for Asia Pacific for 10 years. You name it. I've done marketing, channel, e-commerce, direct business, category. I've done Asia Pacific. Now I'm doing EMEA. So, you know, where was I ever prepared? When I came out of college, you know, I did mechanical engineering. Electronics industry itself is new. Okay, when I came into the industry, 4 transitions happened in the IT industry. When I joined in 96 in the IT industry, and now 4 transitions happened, right? The first time we were in the PC client era. Okay, From PC client era, we moved into internet. That is the second wave which happened. The third wave is cloud and mobile. And the fourth wave is AI. Okay? I couldn't even imagine internet when I joined. You know, we were like AS400s and PDP11s and we were all in that era. Didn't we move? I mean, I'm still surviving in this company. I'm still doing jobs. I'm still learning AI. I'm still learning the what next. So job readiness is, you don't look for it at all. You only look for learning capability. That's all. That's the only thing you should look for. The person, you know, you can take anybody. If that person has the aptitude to learn, and there are many ways to check it, okay, of how that person will be a naturally curious guy, okay, and so that is the first thing. The second thing I would say is, I'll give an example of a very recent example which happened by my standards recent, which is 2018, which is just about 5 years back. They gave me a job of modernization of retail of HP in India. So we have about 700 HP World stores in 300 cities in India. Okay, HP World, they'll only sell HP. Okay, now they gave me a guy who has zero experience in retail this job. I asked my MD, what happened? Why are you giving me, out of all people? I have no retail experience. I've never carried a bag. I've never sold anything in a retail shop. Why? He says, no, but you're digital. And retail is becoming digital. So digitize our stores so that we can compete with Amazons and Flipkarts. Okay, I know there is a person from Flipkart here. And so that they have a life, otherwise they'll become dinosaurs, correct? And so we did that. I handled technology, marketing, I handled analytics. I hired the best people. And one thing I found out is when I had to get the best digital marketers, the best analytics people, the best technology people, one thing I learned is all of them I'm going to pick up from the GAFA mafia. Correct? Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple. Why should they come to a 80-year-old company here? Their grand uncle would have worked in HP, right? Why they should come? Why should somebody? But I was able to attract talent from all these companies, from Google, Amazon and all. And one of the softest aspects I used to do, if I hire somebody very nice, is to talk about culture. And we have in spades, you know, Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard, the place where we founded is the birthplace of the Silicon Valley, right? It's a national monument. So people come even for a lower salary, which actually happened, because I can't pay like the GAFA mafia, for a lower salary because of culture. So job readiness is about the ability to learn, ability to understand the culture of the company, and then come and do this. Okay, and managing millennials is a complete session by itself. I can tell you, I manage millennials. Many of them are younger than my daughters. Okay, so I used to be the boss of somebody who was not even born when I joined the company, right? So that is really fun, you know, when you manage, you know. So these are all the things, and I think the last point I want to say is, you need to learn a lot before you get people. So if you are going to manage people who are going to do AIML, you better know AIML. Okay, you need not be an expert. If you are going to do digital marketing, if you are going to do technology transformation, you have to study a lot. Okay, you have to read a lot. I think that readiness is not from the employee standpoint. From an employer, you should be ready. I think that's the most important thing in my view.
Super. You know, Surya, if you can help us, the point is trying to make is that it is the adaptability. It is learnability. It is learnability, adaptability. Is that the reason people are also becoming, you know, for what a word, obsolete, redundant, etc.?
Yeah. So I have a different kind of scenario at work. So I deal with millennials. My organization is very, very young. We are barely 3 years old. And we are into a field which is, we are into D2C, Ayurveda, beauty and wellness sector. So there are a lot of misconceptions about Ayurveda itself. And then sadly, there is no accredited qualification which deals with Ayurveda or beauty or cosmetology in so much. I was looking for data. There are about 20-25 institutes which will have some kind of courses which touch upon cosmetology, etc. The most accredited course of Ayurveda is BA-MS, which essentially is equivalent to MBBS. So when I look for people who could be job ready, it's like an ocean, because anybody and everybody can be job ready if they are mentally adapted for it. So it's more about the attitude, it's more about the willingness to learn. Now there comes a twist, because One of my best salesperson is a mechanical engineer. I say he has no connect with beauty, no connect with knowing about the products, etc. But he does extremely well for us. So I went specifically into the market that he goes in. I did the market with him, and I realized, I asked him that, how do you do it so well? How do you convince women to buy products? How do you convince women to buy Ayurveda, etc.? He said, जब मैं छोटा था ना तो मैं अपनी मम्मी के साथ साड़ी खरीदने जाता था. So my mother used to look at 100 saris in 10 shops and never buy anything and come back. So I have been groomed to know that, how I used to ask my mother that what would you have bought? What would you have looked at? Now I can't put this on a job description that I'm looking for somebody who went shopping with his mother or her mother. And my market is so wide, so open, because there is no qualification criteria that I can put, right? On the other hand side, on my online space, wherein we have a lot of digital marketers, social media, influencer marketing kind of people, there I have an electronics and communication manager who manages community for us. So when I asked him, how did you come into community? He said, see, electronics engineer banana mere papa ki choice thi. Community manager banna meri apni choice hai. So I said, how do you apply your engineering knowledge into this? And he explained community in such a beautiful way that I knew that he is the right guy that we have put in place. But have I looked at a CV or a profile or a LinkedIn and decided that he can be my next community person? Probably not. So I think the job readiness here is a very, very vague term. I'm still trying to figure out that how will I reach the point where I say, no, this is what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Thank you. Just to ensure, sorry Sridhar, some surprise. So we'll come from Mrrigank to you. Is it okay? Because he seemed to be saying something. So Mrrigank, the question to you is that the point which Surya was talking about is willingness to learn, one. And from the organization front, willingness to experiment. You can't find things in the profile, but you take a bet. My best sales lady is an aeronautics engineer. So you take that. Would you help us? Reliance does that all the time. So would you help us with that?
So I like to give answers from last 3 experiences I had, Reliance, Aditya Birla and Cloudtail. So what I have observed that diversity of career profiles is not increasing over a period of time. What I mean to say is, if someone is in procurement, supply chain, finance or HR, they like to remain in one particular industry, one particular category only. And there is lot of demand that, okay, I need a person who has done only in one particular industry, maybe FMCG/retail, only in procurement in this particular domain. What problem it is creating is, once you have a diverse profile, you are automatically learning agility and resilience. Both of these traits go up, and which has a direct impact on job readiness. Because you don't get a ready candidate. You get a candidate maybe 50% functional ready, and the rest of the things you take bet based on the attitude of the guy, whether he'll ready to go extra mile in terms of learning. So the bottom line is, diversity of career profiles is not going up, which is a food for thought for any talent management practice holder and for us, the HR leaders over there. Another point which is linked with this is transferable skills. Okay, there are transferable skills from one function to another function, which somehow we don't pay attention to. It could be negotiation skills, it could be, I'll give you some examples, simple skills which are agnostic to a particular domain. And there needs to be some kind of a science how we develop those skills, because the job descriptions itself are evolving. We don't know if a particular job is going to be what after 1-2 years. We are just making some hypothesis, and we are sometimes shooting in the dark. To be honest, to be brutally honest, we don't know how this job will be. AI is there and multiple other things. So focus on transferable skills become automatically important to have the job readiness part. Yeah.
Super, super. Samata, are you okay? So there are 2 things he brought up. he brought up one which he used a slightly different word, but the fungible skills, right? They are fungible across. And the second thing he's talking about is ever evolving. The way your shirts keep coming out, no? In Bewkoof, all different every day. So how do you have any examples of these scenarios, and how as an organization we set them?
So I'll cover this, and I'll cover a little because I got sort of interested in some of the communication that we've been having so far, right? So one thing I think job readiness becomes important at two different levels, right? One, there is a blue-collared worker. If he doesn't know how to do a certain job, right, he can't do that job. He could potentially even cut his finger, right? So job readiness is a must in some areas. And over there, I think training, pre-assessment of things become extremely important, Mohan. At the same time, when it comes to a workplace where there are a lot of gray cells at play, right? In an area of that sort, I think a good mix is important. Now I'm getting to your question, right? A good mix is important over there, and it's important that we have people who are domain experts, who know the domain, and they know exactly क्या fabric बन रहा है. They know, they are doctors, they know exactly what is the problem like, right? So you require those expertise. And over there, you can't try to mix anything. Wo base job level is required. Those cores are required. But there are many areas where, which is trainable skills. Over there, I think you decide of the 5 requirements, which are the 2 requirements which are must, and the rest can be trained. Like for example, one of the experiments I did 5 years ago was, I got somebody from a premier institute and put him, 0 years of experience, put him as a regional manager for South India in Mediasis, right? And then he was, it was very surprising. There were years with, folks with 10 years experience, 12 years experience, coming and questioning me, ki, what is this? Are you out of your mind? Why would you make something like this? And I said, let's try it out, a smart guy. And what I realized is he challenged everybody else. And the overall team's skill went up at least 2 notch. So job readiness is a mix of what are the 2 important things that is required right now, not only at that individual JD level, but at a team level to, scale up the whole thing. I think that becomes an important definition of job readiness. And maybe the third thing that I would want to, in the interest of the high level topic, right? I really urge, and this is my request, Indian government actually does a lot of initiatives, right? We spoke about AOP in the earlier panel as well. And people and business are same thing. We own overheads, right? Finally, we do contribute to business by making sure that the overheads are managed. So every time there are increments, even if we are giving 15%, the people cost remains same. And that's a magic that HR professionals can make, right? Rather, people cost can even go low. Now this can happen by skilling right and using some of the benefits that Government of India gives. So there is a NEEM scheme, there is an apprenticeship program. There are various of these programs that I would think that HR professionals need to see how these can be taken advantage of in business context and used to skill India. Because I think India has amazing talent. It's a demand and supply game, so we can always keep the P&L doing well for the company, and we can always make sure that, if we put a process focus, I call it a CPA, If we focus on competency, passion, and alignment, in that case, we can always make sure that people get job ready at least to 80%.
Thank you. Sridhar, sorry, we came to you at the head. Now, while you respond, please try and cover the domain expertise part of it, which she was talking. And the second thing is this whole thing of leap of faith. From the organization, can I take the leap of faith? Bet on someone to make the regional head.
Yeah, so before I come to this conference, I was just wondering, like, am I in the right place? Because being a company secretary, being a director, being a more of a finance or legal background, I was wondering why was I invited. But then I need to say that maybe I thought, okay, I can learn a skill or two by being among some HR experts besides me. So I would like to add something specific, because it's more effective that I say something, a story about my company, rather than talking something on a theoretical base. So it's a proud moment for me to say that when you spoke about the German butcher master, right? So when we started off the company 12 years back, we have so many people, right? So unique manufacturing unit, unique skill sets required, right? So when we got a German butcher master and we say, okay, you get unskilled workers, yeah, this is what you get here, and you have to train them, make them job ready, and ensure that, you know, they follow the same systems which you follow in otherwise in Europe or any other continent. To our surprise, as on today, right? So these same guys who were not job ready, who were being doubted for when they came for an interview at that time, are leading a team, are handling the same systems what was told to them by the European gentleman, and we don't even have him coming visiting on a regular basis. We save also on the cost of traveling. So these guys, right, we are surprised they are literally producing the stuff which goes to pan India, and also we are looking into exports. So the leap of faith, the belief system, right? When I had them see, I am not from an HR background, right? But as a CEO or as a management, what should we do? Like, we look at the growth engine, right? The various growth engines we have, and how do I how do I achieve the growth? I need to find people who fit into the various growth engine. And the third point, make them accountable, right? So though I'm not something directly involved, which my HR manager will take care more than me, but as a CEO, as a management, I cannot ignore the fact that people are the foremost and, the end for the success of the any organization. So it's not about just no founder, no management can ignore the people of the company, right? It is more to do like, you have various growth engine, you have a wrong person to fit in, then, right, you are going to fail. So coming to the faith part, the leap of faith, right? So it's a belief system. The culture which comes in a company comes from the top. The founder dictates the culture in the company. And if you have a culture, putting a belief system, putting a culture of learning, relearning, unskill, reskill, right? This is the culture which the lower end staff look at you. And that is what they will practice. So if the founder or if the management gives that belief, shares that confidence in them that, okay, we are willing to have a bet on you, right? So that bet which we had 12 years back is leaping the results as on today. So this is something which is, peculiar to what we are following, because it's a unique system. It's something which we not thought of, and we have achieved it. So it's the same thing like, the focus today is being on the skill development. So the job readiness, it is, yes, to some extent, yeah, there's a sort of a resume which comes into the picture for us to shortlist, but that's not the end. Anyone who has the right attitude, who is willing to learn, I think you can put your bets on him, put your belief on him, and I think they will drive your company.
100% agree. Very, very, very powerful. Thanks for joining us here. Though you started off saying, why am I here? I'll just add only one line. When I joined this logistics company, I was told that this is not meant for women. That was the first thing which I was told. Logistics is dhanda hai nahi for women. And we have sheds which we call sort centers away from the city, women can't work. I said, who am I to decide that? It's for the woman to decide. I went and hired only girls from management schools for HR. And I told them that this is what the system says that you are not ready. If you think you are ready, you go do it. All my sort centers across the country today are managed by women. And they do it. We just told them that you are job ready. You are ready. We believe that you are ready. And if you think you are ready, here is your game. We are moving to the next topic, and we will just start from Surya and come to you, Nash. This is what we started with Surya. There is so much for all of us to do. It is for higher education institutes, it is for the government bodies, it is for the organization. It's so much for all of us to do on this concept of how do we enhance the skill count. It is not the number of people, but how do we enhance the skill count? Right. Would you throw some light?
Yes.
What do we do?
So we realized this very early on that since we are Ayurveda, we have to have the expertise, we have to kind of, create that specialized version of ours into every person that belongs to our organization, right? So So it so happened that when I joined this organization about a year back, we were discussing about the org design and how do we want to look at this entire organization, and then we realized that we definitely need specialists because that's where our strength is going to be. So we hired doctors who were Ayurveda specialists, and we created a panel of doctors, the board of doctors, who consult with us on various topics which are specialized in nature. Then we realized that while the consumer is getting a lot of information, a lot of knowledge about Ayurveda through our panel of specialists, how are we going to translate into for our internal populations? So we have created multiple modules, and then we hired regional training managers who were extensively trained by these experts to carry the knowledge forward. And then eventually we decided that we will create a very robust module programs which everybody who joins in the organization has to go through to know about Ayurveda, to know about the beauty products, because how this entire thing works. While we were teaching, while we were making them aware about this part, we realized that the softer aspect becomes equally important. How the young people, how do you deal with rejections? How do you handle a difficult situation? How do you, in a fast-paced startup environment, how do you sustain yourself? We realized that people were not following healthy habits, so they were falling sick very often. They were calling in every Monday morning we will have everybody writing in that we will be joining late kind of scenario. So how do you focus on the holistic learning for people? Because as I said, I deal with kids 20 to 23, 24 years old. So now as part of that, we changed our outsourcing partner to TeamLease, where they have focus on the learnings for the off-role resources also. So we are looking at upskilling our entire population, not only on the expertise part of it, but also the softer aspects which make them learn and grow with the organization.
Superb. Nash, HP is a role model, right? The world copied from Xerox and HP. So I'm sure you have done tons of things on this front. Would you give us some specifics?
Yeah, so for specifically about upskilling, okay, I think you put it into three parts, right? What is higher education institutions doing? In our case, mostly engineering and MBA. What is government doing, and what is the employer, the company itself is doing? So I think first from higher engineering institutions, they're doing a lot. If I just look at any engineering college now, their modules, especially in computer science, are very, very advanced. They teach AI, they teach Python, they teach all the things, if you're from a good institute, premier institute, you generally get that. And if you see MBA, you know, by the way, I teach at an MBA school, okay, I'm a professor of practice, okay, a complete module I do for 21 to 22 hours I teach e-commerce. So I'm a good example of somebody teaching in an MBA school e-commerce. And likewise, somebody who's doing finance, somebody who's doing HR, they're all practicing people. So that's the best thing to do for upskilling, right? The students at the age of 21 to 25, they're exposed to masters of their craft, you know. So that is the first thing, you know, HEIs do. Now for government, UGC changed the rule about 2 years back. They introduced this concept of professor of practice. Earlier you need to be a PhD to teach in a postgraduate institution. Now if you have 10 years of relevant experience, like in my case I have 10 years of e-commerce experience, which makes me an e-commerce specialist. So I can teach in any university. I'm a POP. That's a great move, okay? Government is doing that apart from doing many other trainings. The last is in company, okay? In company we do in HP. As I said, in 1939 when this company started, we made audio oscillators. From there we have come a long way, I would say. So there are many companies, not just HP, you take many companies, even Samsung started like that into something and they went into something else, right? So how do they morph, you know, is because of, they have a tremendous internal school of talent. So we have a very strong mentor-mentee program in HP. I in fact mentor a lot of people, up to 8 to 10 people, senior managers in a year. But the funny part is I learn a lot from the mentees, okay, as much as the mentors. So I think it is both way, right? If we keep that osmosis process between passing some knowledge, what we call as institutional knowledge. Whenever I say institutional knowledge, I am reminded of Shashank Redemption, the guy in jail for so long, and you will say, how do you know, you know, food is going to be served, is the institutional knowledge. So sometimes that's why I was jokingly saying, you know, next to the furniture in HP, I've been there and I got all this institutional knowledge. So sometimes this institutional knowledge helps, you pass it on, and the new people who join also give a lot of stuff in it.
Super. Sridhar, do you want to take or not the last person? Okay, right. Right.
See, in our company, like, say, if I have to bring in, like, as we deal with food, right, it's very important for us to maintain the hygiene part of it. But overall, about that, the best learning which I have given to my staff or to my team is to lead by example. If I wanted them to do something, I would just show them that, okay, this is what you have to do. Like if I want them to maintain the timeliness, okay, this is what I'm following, you have to follow. It comes from the top again. But being in a food industry, something very specifically, we have our in-house quality team which has a robust training mechanism taken place, and we are also FSSC 22000 certified. They have their strict SOPs which need to be followed, as simple as some culinary skills and even on the vocal skills. And we have like multiple retail shops. We had to teach them on a personality development, how to face the consumer, what kind of questions need to be asked. So it's an ongoing activity without any end. It's something I would say it goes on a real-time basis, on an everyday standard basis, that what needs to be done for each of the team members. But the best and the easiest thing which we do is the top management telling them, okay, this is what we have done, yes, you have to follow it. And to be like a honest answer to your question, for all these years we have noticed that they just preach like what they see, right? They just see what is happening in the top and they just follow that. And that's again a matter of something which we have learned by ourselves also, that if I have to dictate something to my lower ups, then yes, first I have to show like what needs to be done. So in our company, it's like an ongoing activity, I would say. There is no end for learning, and it is something which our HR team, we have a quality team, we have an in-house veterinarian who takes care of it. And yes, as being a European company, it is something which we have brought in a set of standards to an Indian employee set of around 125 people. And we are happy to see that they have learnt in this journey and they are continuing to learn as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Samata, while you cover, just tell me, do you go to the colleges, teach them? How is that campus to corporate connect built?
Well, we do go to colleges and teach them, but it is more in terms of the fashion industry, more in NIFTs, more in areas that matter to us. And similarly, I think it was more extensive in my span in Medibuddy, where I think we would connect with lot of technology colleges, so be it BITS Pilani, be the IITs. I think we were having a lot of connect over there. So yes, to answer to that is yes. I think the campus finally it is a pyramid that we are operating in, right? So we do require people to join us at the end of every year. And we do want to keep our pyramid as huge as possible at the bottom. And that can be possible only if we are able to attract talent, and talent who are not only ready based on campus, talent whom we are ready to invest on in training them and hoping that we retain them for 11 months, right? So I think that's the work that goes in over there. But interestingly, because I was, I get very involved in the conversation. So my mind starts thinking as I'm listening to each one of you. And one of the things that I thought is, this job readiness is even important at a CXO level. Okay. And one of the things that I went back my memory lane, and last August, one of the things that we did based on the initiation by my CEO was we said we need to have a culture workshop, okay? And we were very, very specific. Ki meeting mein karna kya hota hai? Okay? As simple as that. You come to a meeting, how do you make a meeting outcome driven? How does everybody come on the same page before the meeting? Because each one of us come from our respective department perspective. And then we are talking for 2 hours and going out without outcome, right? Possible happens everywhere, right? So we said, okay, let's target some of these. And a job readiness in terms of learning can happen in such small, ignored spaces as well, which I think are extremely crucial because you have experts. You have the best in industry sitting in the team. The only thing is they're individuals and not a team, right? So how do you keep making these individuals a team? Not only at the top level, but at every layer below that. I think becomes very, very interesting. And another interesting thing that we did is there's a lot of jnana everywhere. Okay, so it's freely available and sometimes available at 399 rupees. Okay, you just have to go to Amazon and buy it. Now, what's important is you need to know what to buy, right? And what you align with. So, and this comes top down because it doesn't matter what each one of us differently align with. What matters is what the leader aligns with, right? How the leader is thinking about it. So we got the leader to select a book that he aligns most with. And we gave this book to all the managers in the company. And then we said, you read this book and come to this training session. And the training was about the book. So we had no concepts beyond the book. So there are different phases of how people learn, right? Some learn because of reading, some learn because of listening, some learn because of seeing. We did all of that. And I think that is how you get people job ready as well.
Sure. You need to cover this aspect. Are we doing enough? All of us together, are we doing enough?
So, in my view, the government institutions, the high education institutions, they are going to provide just a launch pad for anyone, which is just a starting point, which gives you entry to corporate or entrepreneurship at some level in some job or something around it. It's just a ticket. Now coming to your question, are we doing enough? The entire skill set building or something beyond that, it needs to be, as she was mentioning, which is a new era kind of a learning. A book is used to build a culture. lot of information is available. Let's suppose you need to understand Python, learn Python in 2 days, write a code. Lot of information is available online and all. The role of the corporates needs to be to provide these resources. E-learning is one way, but there are more innovative way of teaching which are here and now, short term, and very disruptive and scattered. This scattered way of learning and picking something which makes sense may be the way forward. So yes, we are doing to some extent, but institutions will only be launch pads, but corporates have to keep on adapting to new ways of learning.
Super. There is one example I am obligated to share. So we have been from technology companies going to the colleges, we have set up labs, we have taught there, all that is done. So we had to do something else in the logistics company, and we figured out a college in Bombay, NITE. If you have gone there, it's called now IIM Bombay. IIM Bomb they call it, right? So we did not know what do we do differently. So we said, instead of us coming and teaching in your college, why don't all your faculty, 7 of them, come and work with us for a day? You are teaching supply chain management. Figure it out, how does it happen? So the guys loved it, and IIM Bombay, the top 7 professors came and worked in our thought center for a day. And they wrote a white paper on what did they learn in real terms. So building some relationship with the colleges. Ultimately, I want to hire from there, right? So that's what we are doing. Unfortunately, we are not moving to the last topic, but I have some questions for you, which I told you that I'll not let you know what they are. So I'll start. Nash is giving me dirty look. So I'll start with Mrrigank. If you could swap your role with anyone, who would it be? One word. And why in one word?
You're talking about options within the organization, correct? In terms of any other function.
I didn't tell you anything. I told you if you want to swap your role.
CEO of the company.
CEO?
Yeah.
Jesus. Samata, same question.
I actually can swap with anybody.
Oh, really? I want to
Just
swap
anyone.
with marketing guys. They have a lot of budget, man. See all these things happening. Nash, can I ask you a question? If this stage, instead of expecting you to speak, wanted you to do karaoke, which song do you think you would have sung? One, please.
Many songs I can do. It depends what language. I actually, when S.P. Balasubramaniam passed away, I did a 20-song tribute in 4 languages. So I don't know whether you knew that and you asked me the question.
I do research, man.
So, I mean, I can sing in Tamil. My Hindi is bad, but I did in Kannada, I did in Telugu.
Which is the song you would have picked, sir?
So, Kadal Roja Bhai.
Very good. Sridhar?
I wouldn't have turned up for this conference had you told me to.
That's a good one.
So I'm really bad at it. So that I think you got your answer.
Surya, if your life would have been a movie, what genre it would have been?
I'm not into movies at all, so
But
I
it's
think
team horror movie though. Samata?
It would have been a comedy movie.
Oh, nice. What is the strangest thing on your desk? Or what is the strangest thing? For example, I tell my team I'm a cool guy. Definitely not. Man, this is rapid fire. Mrrigank, to you. GMAT 7:30. What is the strangest thing on your desk? Or something you say to your team? What is the strangest thing? This is without making.
I am available.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, whom did I miss? Okay, I come back to you, Nash, again. What is your go-to excuse when you bunk meetings?
Go to excuse.
Ah,
I'm in think time. I'm doing some serious thinking and
Sridhar?
strategy or something. Yeah.
I'm into meditation.
okay, since it's all about skill, if you want to learn magically a skill, what would it be, Samata?
I would want to is finance.
Finance is
Yeah, I mean, yeah, how to do accounting, how to, be able to understand things faster than how my CFO does. Maybe I would want to do that.
Nice. You want to take a shot?
The same thing. So I am a consistent C grader in finance. So if I have to learn a skill, it has to be finance.
I want to be a stand-up comedian too. That I feel is super. Anyway, this is a question you don't need to answer. You can pass. Bala didn't pay me for this. So if you have to engage TeamLease for your new project, would you do it? Yes or no? You can pass
Already
too.
did it.
You already did. Anyone else? Sridhar?
I would prefer seeing at the CEO's face. What would he say?
You can say pass. Thank you. We attempted whatever we could. We have just concluded it on time for you. Thank you very much.
But Mohan, I should say one thing. You have successfully embarrassed everybody, every speaker, including the CEO. And you did an awesome job to keep it really, really lively. Round of applause for him. Very nice.
Yeah, so I would just request everyone to stay back for a moment, requesting Mr. Karthik Narayan to join me on stage to present a small token of appreciation. Mr. Nash Narasimhan. Mr. Mohan Sitharam. Ms. Samata Ballal. Ms. Surya Omar. Mr. Mrrigank S. Agarwal. Mr. Sridhar Gopalan. Kindly stay back for a quick group photo. Bala, I would request you to join them on stage.